Hi, my name is Brianna, and I just got done talking for like 5 minutes and realized that my friggin' microphone wasn't on. What a day. And I'm feeling Hey there, Lemonheads, and welcome back to the Lemonade Stand, or welcome if you are new. My name is Brianna. I'm a certified personal trainer, a big, huge biology nerd, and a registered dietitian to be. We are gathered here today because prominent social media public figure Liver King admitted to using anabolic steroids. Information which I am totally and utterly shocked to learn because I had absolutely no idea whatsoever. I have some words about that as well as other things, and we're gonna chat about it a little bit. Before we proceed, if you love science-based health, wellness, and fitness education with some lulz and some dry sarcasm along the way, hit that subscribe button and join the Lemonade Stand. I would seriously love to have you here. Without further ado, let's make lemonade. So it's now December, and I'm told that December is a time in which people are jolly. This is my contribution. So for those of you who don't know who Liver King is, he's a social media figure in the space of fitness influencing, I would say. He often shocks the masses by doing things such as eating raw meat, namely liver, showing himself doing grueling and intense outdoor workouts, and with just his immense size and appearance. To me, he kind of looks like a mountain man, which I think kind of goes with his whole like primal aesthetic, I would say. By that I mean his big selling point is ancestral living. Living like our primal counterparts. You know, our earliest human ancestors who did not have fire, social media, dietary supplements, or anabolic steroids. He prides himself on following these 9 tenets of ancestral living. I will briefly go through all of them right now. The first one is sleep like a rock. Great. Love that. Second one, eat like our ancestors. Even though our ancestors did not have processed food, and he's constantly promoting his dietary supplement line, and dietary supplements are processed food. 3, move like our ancestors. You know, like with dumbbells, barbells, and other modern gym equipment. Shield from danger. Live in a house. Got it. Connect to earth as you constantly post to social media. Get cold. No, I'm not doing that. Get sun, magnesium, fat-soluble activators. Sure. Struggle, fight, win. I did that cheer when I used to be a cheerleader. I used to be a cheerleader, by the way. But back in my day, it was go, fight, win. Bond with your tribe. Great. Love that. So on his website, they go into detail of each of these 9 tenets, but I kept it very general here just by reading them and, you know, adding some snark and dry sarcasm because I have to. Okay, so what's the big controversy here? I'm sure you've heard about it, but let me just get you up to speed. As you can imagine, as Liver King has risen to online fame, he has amassed an Instagram following of almost 2 million. He's been the target of speculation for steroid use because of his massive size despite his age and stature. He has been asked time and time and time again if he uses anabolic steroids. And every time he has been asked, he has repeatedly and vehemently denied it. Sometimes going as far as to name call people who accuse him of steroid use as subprimal, which is like his own a term that he uses to be insulting or derogatory, I guess.
There's a lot of subprimals that are convinced that Liver King is taking steroids, right? And this is one of my
asking.
Do you think if I was on steroids, I would have these fucking appendages down here, these legs?
Have legs?
Do you see how fucking little my fucking legs are?
Regardless of whether you use stuff or not, like.
I don't.
Can they get a build like yours without taking them?
So I want to set the record straight. I want to expand and tell you why it's possible.
A year ago, maybe 2 years ago, it was all about like PEDs and steroids, right? And then, you know, same question, same answer. I didn't touch the stuff, don't touch the stuff, right? It's like if somebody has, let's say 700, you know, testosterone, free testosterone, and if they're taking steroids and they want to get up to 1400 or 1500 or whatever it is, guess what? You can do the same thing with the 9 ancestral tenets. And if you do the 9 ancestral tenets and you're living this way over this amount of decades, you know, you're going to be able to produce your highest and most dominant form.
So I think when people see someone with your physique, they look at it and they think there's something going on here. There's gear, there's steroids, there's performance enhancing drugs. Talk to us about, you know, whether you use performance enhancing drugs or steroids or anything to get this physique.
The short answer is no.
I don't touch the stuff.
Recently, a guy named Derek over at the handle More Plates, More Dates made an hour-long video, which I did watch, basically exposing Liver King as a liar. Derek shared an email exchange between a bodybuilding coach and Brian Johnson, aka Liver King. I'm not going to read the entire email thread. I mean, you can go watch Derek's video. I'll link it below. Also, I don't know why, but I found it so funny when I found out that Liver King's name was Brian Johnson. Maybe it's because he comes off as like so eccentric and flamboyant and over the top. And Brian Johnson just sounds like, it just sounds like your neighbor down the street who's watering their grass, you know, just like sounds like such a, just a guy, like, you know, just a normal guy's name. So in this email exchange, it was revealed that Liver King is on a very expensive and immense stack of performance enhancing drugs to include human growth hormone and anabolic steroids. This supplement stack reportedly runs Liver King, Brian, at least $11,000 a month. And the reason I say at least is because that $11,000, I'll put it on the screen so you guys can see, that $11,000 was only referring to one medication, and that was the Omnitrope, which is a prescription medication that contains human growth hormone. He revealed in this email that he was taking a slew of other things that are no doubt costing him thousands of dollars every month. So that $11,000 just on the Omnitrope is a minimum of what he is spending. Imagine all the Starbucks you could buy with that. Oh, but Starbucks is not aligned with ancestral living though. Damn it. Also, this joke has already been made several times, but I'm gonna say it again. Liver King is quite an appropriate name for him. When you look at this steroid stack, you know his liver is probably working overtime. I would also personally like to add to his monikers Cardiac King as well. Between the almost exclusively carnivorous diet and the obscene amounts of anabolic steroids, his heart is probably working triple time. Prolonged anabolic steroid use / abuse is associated with cardiovascular problems, and there is a lot of evidence to back this up. They raise your bad cholesterol and lower your good cholesterol, which can bring on atherosclerosis, hardening and thickening of the arteries. And then they're also associated with cardiomyopathy as well, which is an umbrella term for just diseases affecting the heart, which can include cardiac arrhythmia, elevated blood pressure. Prolonged anabolic steroid use and abuse basically wreaks havoc on your entire cardiovascular system. A little while ago, I watched a video by Dr. Chris Rainer of the YouTube handle Dr. Chris Rainer. He made a video which dives into why it's so common for young and seemingly healthy bodybuilders to drop dead like in their 40s. And he discusses that rampant anabolic steroid use and abuse is likely a contributing factor. I'll link that video below. It's really interesting. So again, between the almost exclusively carnivorous diet and the anabolic steroid use, I imagine that Liver King's heart is working very, very hard. Anyway, Liver King using steroids, it's not speculation anymore. Days after Derek's video came out, Liver King made a confession / apology video, which in my opinion was yet another failed attempt at a public figure's apology. In the video, which he posted to his YouTube channel, he said he, quote, fucked up. Oh my God, I think that's the first uncensored swear I've ever said. Since I'm quoting somebody, I just want to be specific. That's why I didn't censor myself just now. Which is interesting to me to call it that, because to me, an F-up is an accident, a mistake. For example, a fender bender, accidentally stepping on somebody's new shoes. Those things are accidents. Liver King, Brian, on multiple different occasions passionately denied anabolic steroid usage while knowing that he was indeed using anabolic steroids. He lied multiple times. He made the calculated and deliberate decision to be dishonest when confronted with this simple yes or no question. You, sir, are a liar. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. I'm not gonna play his whole apology video here. I'm not gonna react to it, but there are some things that I took away from it that I wanna highlight right now that I found particularly hilarious and ironic as some of the reasons he kind of implied for his steroid usage. He said Liver King as a public figure was an experiment to spread a message and bring awareness of the thousands of people every day who commit, sue, or attempt it. For people suffering with depression, anxiety, and infertility, which I personally thought infertility was a weird thing to name. All of this is very ironic because anabolic steroid usage is strongly associated with erratic behavior, depression, anxiety, and infertility. A recent study observing male anabolic steroid users who had existing mental health disorders found that their steroid use was associated with making their issues worse and increased their aggression and provoked suicidal thoughts. The very things he claims that he started his brand to raise awareness for and fight against. The irony. Okay, so why does all this matter? Who cares if this guy does steroids? Big deal, right? That is absolutely correct. I do agree with that sentiment. His body is his choice. Some of you might actually be a little bit surprised to hear me say this. I'm not bothered so much by the steroid use, and I really don't think that that is the big problem here. The problem is that he has built a multi-million-dollar brand off of proclaiming that he is natural and asserting and implying that just following his 9 tenets and using his supplements, of course, that you too can achieve the physique and the life of your dreams.
If you want to be a top king, if you want unlimited access to cars, money, and if you want to find your queen, then you have to fuel your efforts with ancestral supplements, liver, beef organs, and bone marrow with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because liver is king. And you already know with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, always gonna have a whole feast protein shake.
But you know what though? He's far from the only fitness influencer doing that. He's just the one that got caught. And that is why I don't think Liver King is the problem. I think his actions are a result, or a symptom, if you will, of what's wrong with the entire fitness industry. Liver King admittedly misled people.
I'm making this video to apologize. Because I fucked up. Because I'm embarrassed and ashamed. Because I lied. And I misled a lot of people.
He misled people by lying about his steroid use and asserting that his body was attainable through natural means, by building a brand and becoming a multi-millionaire, all with this teeny tiny little lie on the back burner that he actually was using anabolic steroids. Thousands, maybe even millions of people bought his supplements under the belief that if they used them and followed his 9 tenets, that they too could achieve a body like his. It's deceptive and it is dishonest. However, once again, it's not surprising. There are a lot of influencers right now influencing the masses, selling cookie cutter programs, shilling supplements, all while proclaiming that they are natural and that you too can achieve a body like theirs through the same natural means, preying on people's ignorance and their insecurities, and also just setting unrealistic expectations and unrealistic body standards too. It's not even just like influencers doing it either. There are a lot of fitness professionals in social media doing this right now as well. Using steroids, lying about it, and making people believe that their bodies are completely natural, and making their clients think that they can look like they do if you buy their programs and use their discount code for their supplements. I personally also think it's laughable that Liver King said he wanted to help people dealing with depression and dissatisfaction with their lives, while he too was dealing with those very same insecurities and body image issues, as he put it in his apology video. The difference between him and all the people that he lied to who bought his supplements and bought into his whole the 9 tenets crap is he was willing to risk using drugs to get the body that he wanted. And most people aren't, which very well may be one of the millions of reasons that he lied about it. I would have so much less of a problem with this. No problem at all, really, if he just didn't lie about it. If he were just transparent about it. But he wasn't. He lied about it and continued to lie about it, thus continuing to mislead people, making the choice to mislead people. People who are already insecure because of the unrealistic and sometimes unattainable body images that are portrayed on social media are made even more insecure and self-conscious when they see people like Liver King who are monstrously jacked. Because they're insecure, they're also probably very vulnerable. And then they start to think, oh, well, all I have to do is follow his 9 tenets and use his supplements, and then I'll look like him. Something else that I would like to address is all of the commentary that I have seen online saying things like, well, duh, he's on roids. Why would anyone think he's not on steroids? Of course he's on steroids, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but my question to all of those people who are saying things like that is, if you didn't know any better, why wouldn't you believe him when he says he's not on steroids, you know? Okay, I have been a personal trainer for 6, 7 years. I have competed in bikini competitions before. I'm an avid gym goer. I have friends who are competitive bodybuilders. I've been on the scene for a while. I feel like I, and most people like me, can pretty easily spot somebody who's on the juice, so to speak. So to me, I was not surprised when this information came. I mean, I guess I was surprised that it came public, but I was not surprised at the information because I already had a strong assumption that he was using steroids. He just lied about it like most other influencers do. But guess what though? People like me, people who are like well-versed in exercise and who have been navigating the fitness industry for many years, We're not his target audience. His target audience are the ignorant people who don't know any better when it comes to health and fitness. Those who are insecure about their bodies and are desperate to change. Those who are vulnerable and willing to do anything and listen to anyone to change their bodies. Those are the people that fitness influencers like Liver King target, not people like me. I watched a video the other day from a creator named John, handle Obese to Beast. You guys should follow John. I really like him. He brought attention to what I'm talking about right now, and he shared a really good example about this. He's starting to develop an interest in art and drawing and stuff like that. And he said, if I am brand new to the art world and I don't know anything about artistry or drawing or just art in general, and I decide, okay, I want to learn how to draw heads, and I find someone on social media who looks like they know what they're doing, and they teach me how to draw heads, and I'm like, okay, great, cool, that's how you draw a head. But then seasoned artists start to come forward and like maybe they call this person out and they say things like, that's not how you draw a head, that's a terrible way to draw a head, blah, blah, blah. How is John supposed to know any better? He's not like immersed in the art world like the other seasoned artists are. How is he supposed to know any better? And I just thought that was a really interesting example because it's true. How is anyone supposed to know any better if you don't know any better? Another example that I can think of is my own husband. My husband, Ace, he's also a certified personal trainer. He's an avid gym goer. He has also competed. He and I did a show together, and he actually qualified for nationals at his very first show. So several years ago, like long before he got into like fitness and bodybuilding like he is now, he was watching a video of the late Rich Piana. He was a bodybuilder. Ace didn't know anything at all about bodybuilding, fitness, or Rich Piana. It was the first video of him that he had ever seen in his life. Ace's friend comes in, sees him watching this video, and his friend's like, oh, that guy's on roids. And Ace was like, what? How do you know that? Why would you think that? And then his friend kind of looks at him and was like, come on, of course he is. And Ace told me at the time he was just really skeptical of what his friend was saying. He was just like, I don't know how you know he's on steroids. You can't know that for sure. Blah, blah, blah. You know, Ace was just very skeptical of his friend. Like, why would you assume that, you know? Ace didn't know any better at the time. For those of you who are unaware, Rich Piana is a bodybuilder who died very young. He was 46 years old. He was actually very open about his anabolic steroid usage, and he actually did not encourage it. And I personally really liked Rich Piana for that reason, because he was honest and open about it. And he talked about kind of the realities of what it was really like using steroids and what it did to your body. I think he's quoted as saying, if you have the choice to stay natural or do steroids, stay natural. So like I said, he passed away when he was 46. I think it was 2016 or 2017. Upon his death, the autopsy revealed that his heart was enlarged and he had mild atherosclerosis. Though on the official report, his cause of death was actually written as undetermined, Rich Piana used steroids for many, many years, in which, again, he was very open about it. And it's strongly speculated that his steroid use probably played a part in his untimely death. So anyway, the point I was trying to make about that story, yes, we now know and are fully aware that Rich Piana used anabolic steroids, but at that time when Ace was a complete noob and had absolutely no idea about fitness and bodybuilding or anything like that, why would he think that? At that time, Ace was just ignorant and didn't know any better. Just like the many people out there right now who truly believed that Liver King was natural. So I'm just really sick of seeing comments, honestly, of people who were like, well, you're an idiot if you thought he was natural. Of course he's not natty. Well, it's obvious he's not natural. It's actually not obvious to people who don't know any better, though. Now, I know to a lot of people who are probably watching this, like, it seems unbelievable. Like, why would anyone look at Liver King and think that he's natural, right? I assume that you're probably a fitness buff. Remember, you're probably not his target audience. So it's obvious to people like you and me, but it's not obvious to people who don't know any better. And I truly feel really sorry for all the people who believed that he was natural, because they probably feel really foolish right now. And just FYI, if anybody who's watching this and you're not like super, I guess, up to speed and you're not super immersed in the fitness industry, a middle-aged man who is this obscenely huge with a slightly protruding abdomen is probably on the juice. In this case, he is on the juice because he admitted it. And if they actually are natural, then they have the genetic profile of a Greco-Roman god. I also don't want this to spread the narrative that everybody who's jacked and shredded is on steroids, because that's just not true. Especially in people who have been lifting for many, many years and eat a balanced diet that supports their athletic lifestyle. It's very possible that they can achieve and maintain a very chiseled and muscular physique while being completely natural. It's when you start to see the guys that are of just enormous size and can barely fit through doorways, that's when it starts to get questionable. I hear little dog paws tapping around upstairs. We need to get some freaking rugs. Oh, who's coming downstairs? Sounds like Onyx. Onyx? Nope, that's Alpha. I just heard her burp. Alpha, is that you, baby? Yep, that's Alpha, so you guys can't see her. Hey, mama. Hi, my baby girl. You're a little chunk. You're a little thick, but you are not on the juice, okay? And here comes the old man. What's up, dog? It's my dogs. Okay, the very last thing I would like to address while talking about this guy is why the fuck does everybody want to be primal and live and eat like our ancestors now? I have seen so many influencers lately hopping on this ancestral primal living crap and saying things like, oh, we need to live primal and ancestral like our ancestors. Like a lot of people who are freaking obsessed with fasting, you know those people. They'll say things like, early humans didn't eat all the time. We eat too often. That's why we need to fast for 5 days at a time. That's why half of America is obese and has cancer, because we eat too often. I think I reacted to in an MLM top fails from last year, Melissa McAllister saying some crap like that about like, or you know, going back in the day when we used to hunt and gather our food or some crap like that. I'm gonna try and find it and I'll put it in right now.
I talked to you about fasting really fast, shocker. I want you to think about way back in the day when you'd actually have to go find your food before you would eat it. You know, people get up in the morning and they would go find their food, and then even when the agricultural age came, men would get up in the morning, they'd go work on the farm, and the women would make the breakfast, and then they would come in and eat. And so the problem today is that, you know, the refrigeration and the convenience foods are just there, and there's no working for your food or waiting to eat until it's available. Even at night, you ate dinner and then you were done. If we go back to that, our bodies would be so much happier.
The fundamental thing that these people forget are epigenetics and evolution. Epigenetics is a study of how our behaviors and environment can cause changes that impact the way our genes function. It's been a few thousand years of human evolution at this point, and quite a lot has changed. We have fire and the iPhone. Our environment 1,000 years ago is nothing like our environment now. We live longer, like way longer, thanks to modern medicine and technology. Human life expectancy used to be like 30. Liver King would be a village elder. Women died on the reg during childbirth, and people dropped dead of the common cold left and right. Our genes have changed, and our environment has changed. Trying to replicate the lifestyle that our early ancestors lived will not have the same effect because we're in a different environment now. We've evolved beyond the need to kill our dinner with a stick and a rock. So I don't get this primal bandwagon that people are trying to be on now. It's stupid. Shut up and eat Chipotle. Ugh. Okay, I think I want to wrap this up now. Lying to build a brand is deceptive, fraudulent, and just crappy. And in my opinion, it's especially terrible when you are a direct contributor to the problem of creating body image issues among those who are ignorant and insecure, especially the youth. The Liver King has a lot of young male fans who were probably heartbroken and disappointed when they learned the truth, because yes, I'm sure a lot of them believe that he was natural. And to the people who are going to jump in my comments section and defend him and say things like, well, his message is good overall, so I forgive him, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not here to tell you to forgive or not forgive him. I don't know him personally, and really a lot of the people defending him don't even know him personally either. That's not what this is about. And you could argue that yeah, he had a positive message. There are a lot of people out there who he really did help. Like maybe because of his message and his platform, maybe they're a lot more physically active now, maybe they exercise now, maybe they eat a little bit better now. And honestly, I think that's great, but I personally would never support someone who's okay with being a bold-faced liar. Not that I've ever supported him before. I have always thought that he was ridiculous, and I really couldn't stand the guy because he spreads a lot of nutrition and health and science misinformation, and I can't stand it. But that is just strictly my opinion. This is all my opinion. If you want to support someone with no integrity, more power to you. But honestly, if you do really believe that and you still want to continue being a staunch supporter of him, then I think that you're really missing the bigger picture here. Because again, Liver King is not the problem here. He's an indicator of the problem, a warning sign, a symptom. He's also an example of what happens when we give someone a platform just because of how they look, versus giving someone who actually has your best interest in mind and has knowledge in the areas in which they preach. In my opinion, Liver King's entire image and persona is also just a gimmick. Unfortunately though, that's what gets attention these days. It's boring for someone to just be like, hey, drink water, eat vegetables, exercise, sleep well, and that's all you have to do to be a healthy human. No, because everybody needs a gimmick. Some of them shill cleanses, some of them sling cookie cutter programs when they claim that they're custom programs. We've talked about influencers who do that before. Some of them shill skinny tea, and some of them eat raw liver and raw testicles, because that's what gets attention, and that is more interesting and captivating than someone just sharing the simple few things to be a healthy human that I just named. And as long as the masses continue to buy into people like Liver King who have these absurd gimmicks, then these charlatans will never, ever go away. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you want to see more of me and hear more of my ramblings, why not hit the subscribe button? Once again, thank you very much for watching. Second reminder to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Queen Lemon, over and out. You guys want to see who was making all this noise? It was this one. What a big stretch. Yes, it was you making all that ruckus. Do you have anything to say? Anything to say? You guys are just gonna kiss. What are you guys tired from? Alpha, do you have anything to say? What are you doing? You guys wanna go outside? Let's go outside. Excuse the mess. We're in the middle of some home improvement projects. Where is Zeus? Where's your other brother? Oh, I hear him coming down the stairs. What up, dog? Yes, come outside. Just so everyone knows, Alpha is totally natty.